We got no intro. Hey guys, welcome to the Sports
What
Cell.
an intro!
The video didn't work. Yeah, welcome to the Sports Cell. I'm Matt McKenzie. I'm alongside here Isaac Habib. How's it going today, Isaac?
Super great, Matt. Side note, Matt, I'd like to. I think I'm gonna nominate you, CFMWS, as one of the best techie guys in PSP that we have. Because you
Thanks,
always
man.
talk about you're the technological guy in PSP, and you have technicality issues all the time. But anyway, it's not a big deal. I
Yeah,
still like
that was
you.
bad.
But for effort, I'm gonna put you into Ottawa and nominate you.
Appreciate that. Thanks, man. You survived Hurricane Teddy okay? Things are okay up in the city?
Teddy,
Isn't that the
can you
hurricane?
hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah, no, that was it was a post-tropical storm, Matt. It wasn't really much of a hurricane. Although we did have a delayed opening today. How was Shearwater?
Shearwater's great. Churro's great. We
Sure
we
was great.
fared well, yeah.
Okay, I'm glad. I'm glad. Hopefully there was no casualties out there and everyone was safe. But now you're all safe and nestled in with us talking sports.
Yeah, let's get into it.
All right, what do
So
you want to
let's.
talk?
So we had the Ryder Cup going Monday. Let's just hear an update on that. You were there.
Yeah, that was a nice day. I think a lot of the guys enjoyed the format. Um, Day one, we did best ball matches. So, for instance, we split up the teams into two for Halifax and Shearwater. We had 6 and 5. We were missing one Halifax player. So basically, what happened was, for instance, like Dave Parsons and Anton would match up against like Stephen Mooney and Ryan Gale. These are all golfers, but basically the matchups, how they would work is if you and I were going against each other, the lowest score obviously gets recorded for each team, and if you won the hole, then you go one up or one down kind of thing. So in the end, Halifax had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points, and Shearwater had three. We didn't crown the winner, but day two was supposed to be yesterday. So we've rescheduled that for October 13th. So I sent out an email to those guys, and we're going to probably do another day, the day after Thanksgiving, and then we'll give them a trophy, give them some prizes, and we'll crown the
Nice,
best golf team in Halifax, I guess.
nice. Who was the best player out?
Well, how it works is like some of them weren't recording even individual scores because it's like, hey, did you win the hole and that kind of
No, but
thing.
who was the favorite?
Terry Moore is a real good golfer. Dave Parsons. Um, there's a Steve Mooney. Like there's a bunch of guys that are we got some good golfers on both sides. We wanted to get 12 on 12, and we ended up getting 6 on 5. But I still think it was a great like simultaneously we did single matches too, so everyone got like your single score did count. So anyway, it was an interesting thing. We've never done it before. I don't know if it's going to be an annual thing, but it's definitely a good idea to get people golfing kind of thing. Um, we do have Mega Golf coming up September 28th. So that's a full day of golf. PSP covers it. If you haven't sent me your names, send me your names. Should go through your sports rep. But if you're having troubles finding who that is, or you're not getting kind of like the response that you want, you can just send your names directly to me. We'll sort it out, and then we'll send out a schedule by the end of the week. I'm going to talk to Mark from Heartland Point tomorrow and let know what our 10 numbers are. Right now, we're at 32 players. So usually we used to get 80 some players. Um, so if anyone's
Wow.
listening out there and you're part of the military and you want to golf, doesn't matter if you're part of Shearwater or Halifax, send your name in, and yeah, we'll have a fun day, and hopefully the weather is good. That's September 28th.
Nice. That's coming up real soon. Sounds great. Sounds like it was a good event. Yeah,
It was a beautiful
great,
day. It's probably the nicest day I've ever seen at Heartland Point.
great work on that. I'm probably going to nominate you to CFMWS.
Thanks, man. Thank you. Can you send my name in?
Yeah, I'm going to put that
I,
name in for you.
I should nominate actually Jim Ogilvy because he's our golf pro. Again, thanks Jim for not showing up two weeks in a row. No, all joking aside, we're gonna try to get him on next week. But basically, he set up the rules and the layout, and I think everyone was happy. The only thing is, you don't really get those people hanging out in the clubhouse as much, and it's kind of changed for COVID.
Yeah,
You can't go to
definitely,
Heartland Point. You can take your mask off and sit down at a table, but it is still a little strange. So
definitely.
people golfed and then left. So
Nice. Just see we got a comment coming in from Joni Soller, just commenting on your mustache. Joni, I've been working on this since the pandemic, so I mean that's March, right? I still got some peach fuzz, but no,
I
it's a nice stash you got over there, Isaac.
I shaved this morning. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm just kind of. What happened was I got married, and I was like, oh, I need to grow up, so I grew a mustache, and I think I'm kind of liking it, you know.
Yeah, it's here to stay, is it?
Yeah, we call that a little. Mark Jessup at Harlem Point called it salad. He goes, "What's that salad on your face?" I was like, "I never heard that before. That's kind of cool." So this is why I got some salad on my face.
Oh my God.
Anyway, what else is happening in the military world? How's your hockey league?
Hockey's going well. We are up to I think 12 or 14 teams, with a few more hopefully on the cusp of coming in. Base teams are working as well. Hopefully, we're going to get those guys in their own little separate division, but that's still in the works. Good news from the province of Nova Scotia. We got the rec sport has been updated to now allow 50 participants, I believe, in a building as of October 1st. So I don't know what's going to change for the military side. We're hoping to expand it to retired military and D&D as well, but for right now, it's strictly just military members playing in the hockey league. Um, so yeah, and right now we're at 4-on-4 play. We're hoping to step that up to 5-on-5, but again, we'll see, taking it day by day right now. But yeah, things are going well with the hockey league.
You're taking names and teams all the time, or is it cut
Absolutely,
off?
yeah. It's going to be ongoing. So if anyone wants to register as an individual or as a team, there's lots of space. We got ice, lots of ice. If you want to play, it's free for right now, just military. There are no refs or timekeepers, so it's basically organized pickup hockey. But if you want an hour and a half of ice in the evening, organized to play against another team, then yeah, send me an email, matthew.mckenzie5@forces.gc.ca, and that's five. There's five. That's yeah, it happens
Wow,
a lot.
you have a really
Um,
nice, unique name.
I got nothing to say about. I got nothing. I got nothing to say to that.
Um, have you started games? Sorry, you did, right?
Started what? So, yeah, we started games right away.
How they going without refs and scorekeepers?
Good. I haven't got any complaints. I haven't got any reports of fighting or anything like that. So that's all. That's as long
That's
as they're
good.
not in my hair, I'm happy. But yeah, it's should be pretty relaxed where it's just pickup, organized, basically scheduled pickup hockey for military only.
I find it funny when we have pickup hockey or like daily lunchtime hockey or what have you, how once we get involved to officiate or organize it, we actually have more issues. Whereas if you're just playing a pickup game, most of the players will just sort it out on their own or let things go, that kind of thing, and they self police. But it's funny, like once we get out there with a whistle or start scorekeeping, they're all over us, and it seems to intensify things.
Yeah, you're trying to babysit basically, and people are seeing what they can get away with, and yeah, it's not fun. No one wants to babysit 40-year-old adults.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, so that's it for that. I don't think
Something
there's any.
like ball hockey
Sorry, you cut out there. Go ahead. Ball hockey.
cut out there. I was just saying for ball hockey, do you have a plan? Oh man, can we, Joni? Can we get a like an upgrade in like camera, mic, and maybe upgrade Matt too? Can we upgrade Matt? Can you hear me now, Matt?
Yeah, you're good. It might be a bit of a delay, but you're good. You're good.
You're a bit delayed. What's happening with ball hockey? Like pickup in the gym. Like, do you know anything? Like, I know what sport Nova Scotia has, and I know the guidelines, but like, I'm finding it kind of hard for return to play, like with regards to gear, like washing gloves, goggles, sticks. Can guys come in and bring their own gear? How's that all going to work? And we have limited gym space and all that. So anyway, that's something I'm working on. Um, but I'm just wondering, have you talked to Wally or anyone? Like,
No, no,
is there any chat about hockey inside the gym?
yeah, no discussions on that, which we know is a big piece of the military kind of, you know, everyday sport. You know, they love to come in and play some ball hockey, so that's going to be huge. And cleaning the equipment, yeah, it's something I never thought about. But for sure, it's going to be a big piece. But with all the cleaning supplies we have now and all the cleaning equipment, we have sanitizers in both gyms and stuff like that. So maybe for the goalie gear and everything like that. And so I don't know. I don't know what that's going to look like going forward. But hopefully in October things can start to roll a bit more and we can get some
Yeah,
units in the gyms to play for sure.
I'm putting something tentatively together, but I mean, it's already out there. It's more about how do they come into the gym and how's that all going to work. I know I'm getting emails. I'm not ignoring you guys. I've answered a couple of you. Don't worry, hockey will be back eventually. All right, we want to stay safe. We want to stay clean. We want to spray nine everything. Okay, cheers.
Yeah, so that's I don't think there's much else right now in the world of sports in Shearwater.
Oh, intersection curling. Um, if those of you out there are listening, PSP Weekly, check that out. That usually gets sent out. There's going to be a message about intersection curling. Intersection curling at the Halifax CFB Curling Club. Obviously, they have their own plan to return to play. They're only using 5 sheets of ice. You can still rent the brooms and all that. But if you're sitting around afterwards, there's going to be social distancing. There's going to be arrows to follow. You can't use the lockers downstairs. Yada yada yada. So, does anyone say yada 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 anymore, or is that a '90s thing? I didn't hear you.
I said you're married now and you have a mustache, so you should be good now.
Oh, okay. Anyway, yeah. So, basically, if you're interested, even if you don't have a team part of the unit, send me your names. All right. Sports.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get into the worldwide web of sports out there.
Yeah, so lots have been going on. Sports is actually kind of interesting right now across like all mainstream leagues. And just real quick, I'll just input here that Joni said about your equipment purchase, or maybe it's to replace me. I don't know. She said yes to ask Mike to bill to the public for it.
Okay.
So maybe I'm out of a job here, but
No.
I
We're
know
gonna
she's
get
talking.
artificial intelligence is going to replace us.
Yeah, and then every time you ask for a score because you don't watch the games, it'll tell you right away.
Exactly. We'll have 2 robots here going zzz, 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 PSP. Zzz,
And
zzz,
she
zzz,
also
zzz.
included that people over the 50s say yada yada. So anyway, you,
Oh,
you can take from that what you want. But yeah, let's move on. We got what do you want to chat first?
I
We
just
can.
want to say right off the bat, what's fresh in my mind, because we talk a lot of basketball and hockey. I think the NFL is super exciting right now for me. I watched the U.S. Open. I thought that was super exciting. Um, right now, it's weird because I always say how sports are stupid, and I don't obviously mean that I bored. I like the distraction. Um, so football has been exciting. There's no crowd. Uh, did I cut out for a half an hour there?
Yeah.
Wow.
You can just keep going though. That's fine. Yeah.
I'm gonna keep rolling. I just want to say, I just want to say, NFL. I love 2020. That's the first thing I want to say. Um, but the NFL is exciting without a crowd. It hasn't changed the game for me. Have you seen anything, or what's your take on it?
Um, yeah.
This is going well.
Yeah, the NFL. I haven't watched a whole lot of it, but yeah, I would agree. I think like we were chatting before the show, the NHL and NBA, you kind of notice the lack of energy in crowd more so than maybe the NFL and even the MLB for that much. But yeah, continue.
Yeah, no, I baseball and football haven't changed for me yet. Um, that's still to say that who knows if there's even a Super Bowl? Like you don't know how things happen with COVID and the future. But right now it's rolling. It looks good. Hockey I thought was okay, and is still okay. It's funny. I've lost a lot of interest once it became the Stanley Cup Finals. I find I just kind of like, all right, well, we know which two teams are here, but and basketball, like we mentioned, there's some big moments, some big things are happening, but it's not as exciting when the crowd doesn't erupt and doesn't get the players going. But who knows? Maybe over time this will be the new normal and be okay with it.
Yeah, do you see the start of the next season for NHL and NBA? Do you see it starting without fans as well? Maybe I don't know when they're planning on starting. I think it's November sometime. Do you see them
They're saying
starting
a full year, eh?
with no fans?
Uh, well, I don't know about the fans, but they're saying that a full season, which
Eight,
is
82 games, right?
yeah,
And they're going to compress that into like try to reset so it starts in April. Playoffs start in April.
I guess so.
It's going to be tight.
I know Gary Bettman was just saying that they're doing 82 games. I mean, that could change, but interesting thing that came up here on TSN earlier was that with no fans, it's more competitive. Um, and I don't really know, like, I don't know what you think of that. Like, the players are still professionals, right? They're still just still going to play the best hockey that they can play. Um, so maybe there is something statistically that we'll look at after this is all said and done that you know maybe there is more animosity among players. Maybe it becomes more personal when there is no crowd around. Maybe that pickup game feeling that happens
Mm-hmm.
becomes more intense. You know what I mean? Like you played
Yeah,
enough sports to know what I'm talking about. So um, it's more about the feels now when we're watching stuff. It's just how you feel. But like when this is all said and done, we get a couple seasons under our belt with this weirdness. We'll be able to compare it, right?
for
And kind
sure.
of
And you mentioned it a couple weeks ago about the MLB, the amount of runs they're putting up, right? Like it
yeah,
goes to show like maybe that does tie into being more competitive. These guys just, you know what I mean? They're scoring more runs. Um, that's interesting. I never really thought about it that way, but yeah. I mean, I tell that he's more competitive without fans. See, but you know
well,
what? He did play like in when he played shooting the fit like his Space Jam film and stuff. He was bringing in guys and like that.
yeah,
That was competitive ball. You know what I mean? With no one watching, there was cameras there,
yeah,
I guess. But
yeah. And you know that famous scrimmage that was never really no one was there for, where you have the greatest players in the game, old guys and the new guys, and Magic was kind of on his way out, but there was heated competition, heated battle. I'm glad they had some cameras on it because you wouldn't believe what happened then. And they say that was one of the greatest games ever played that no one ever saw. So it just depends on the mentality. You just froze on me.
we're back. We're back. We're back.
Okay. Hey, we're back. Hey, we're back. I'm saying if you have a Jordan mentality, it doesn't matter. You
Yeah.
could be pitching quarters in the hallway. It's a serious competition.
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely about that. So yeah, let's in the NHL we have obviously Tampa and Dallas that's tied up at one apiece. I think they played tonight, game number 3. Do you have any comments about that? How that's going? I know you said you didn't really check into it too
Uh,
much. You're
I've
kind of
been
checked out.
I've been checking in, but I think I've been more checked out. I think the only thing I wanted to say generally about it is that every year, like we do a hockey pool, obviously. Like my friends, like I have a lot of friends. I'm really popular, right? And when we do it, I load up on teams like Dallas, and I've been doing that for the last couple years. Now they get to a certain point and they fizzle out. And it's funny, like this year they really put it together. Um, so I'm again, you can go back and check all the tapes, and I'll probably said I was surprised all this time that Dallas made it. But now that I think about it in hindsight, I shouldn't be that surprised. Like they've always had great playoff players, and their goaltending was always kind of like up in the air. So I'm not surprised about them being in the finals. Obviously, now that I know who's in the finals.
Were you with PSP when Rick Bonus came to do the chat that year, the sports breakfast chat? Well, you were with
Um,
them, I guess. But did you attend? I forget
I,
what
I
year.
didn't. I didn't attend. No.
Yeah, okay. Wally was in the office talking about him the other day and just about his path to where he's at now. Now he's the head coach of the Dallas Stars and from New Brunswick somewhere. Um, so yeah, really interesting story. And I get he also came as the head coach this year. I think he was the assistant coach. They fired the coach. I don't know when, maybe last summer, or and then he took over. And now he's taken this team to the Stanley Cup final. So it's kind of pretty impressive to see that. And then you got the other story of Hudobin, their goaltender, stepping up. He's been an average goalie his kind of
Yeah.
whole career, and now he's the guy, and he's playing phenomenal. He's keeping this team like he's the team's riding him basically, and he's performed. He's showed up every night. I don't know who I'm cheering for. I think Tampa's the better team on paper, uh, but
What do you think of Tampa though winning this year? Like you know how again Tampa's the other team from the East that is like we're waiting for them to break through. Like they're just knocking on the door every year, and now they
yeah.
broke through, and it's like, well, does it count? Is it an
Yeah,
asterisk?
it's funny that from the start when you said that, I said it. Of course, it counts. And now that I'm getting to the end of it, maybe I'm changing it because I'm salty about who's there. I don't know, but it almost feels like facilitated. It almost feels like this is what Tampa needed to get there. They couldn't get through, whoever it was, Washington or Crosby and the Penguins. But then when Montreal knocks off the Penguins, they're out. Washington has an early exit too. They're out. I feel just like they didn't. Yeah, it just doesn't feel organic, I guess. And
Yeah,
why
yeah.
would
It
it?
might be because it's something new and different. I don't know.
I would
Um,
have liked to see Boston and Tampa meet in the Eastern Conference Final. That would have been a bloodbath, and then the real team that come out of that would have been like, okay, they deserve to be there. But yeah, it's almost like the Lakers in the other side. If they did roll Nuggets in 4, which I don't see, obviously can't happen now, but it would have been like, yeah, they made it to the final, and I mean they did play the Houston Rockets. So I mean, you're like, yeah, they played some tough competition, but it almost just felt like I want to see the
yeah,
Clippers. I want to see them get through the Clippers, and then the team that goes to the final, you're like, okay, you deserved, like, you know what I mean, you earned your place there. But
I don't think any team this year, other than like football, if you're looking at football, that was kind of disrupt. That was not interrupted. They had training camps, they practiced preseason, and here we are.
I gotta cut you off. I gotta backpedal a little bit here because I know Boston played Tampa in the second round, but it was just not the same feel because Rask had left the bubble. Um,
Yeah, that's what I was getting to. I was saying like I don't think
okay,
anyone's their true self right now. Like
yeah.
everything we've seen good matchups. We've gotten excited on it about paper. And then the way they happened, like LA, Clippers, Lakers, you know how good that would have been for the city and the fans? Um, and I don't think the Clippers were their true self. I don't think Lakers playing Portland was like who cares? Um, I don't think all these teams like Miami, Denver Nuggets, I don't think you see these kind of stories happening if it's a real like the Bucks getting eliminated. Um, it's just I find like I don't know if this is something that is strange to COVID times or it's
Definitely. And if anyone's watching right now and has any comments on their view on some of the storylines breaking out here, just like feel free to comment up and we can have a little discussion. But yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. I mean, I always like a good Cinderella story. I like the underdog to kind of win through, but it just feels a bit different. Like what if Kawhi and PG had the rest of the season to build some more chemistry and to get I don't know, in game shape, because there were reports that they weren't in game shape after load managing in the year. So what if they anyway? It's a different dynamic, and there's also a bit of momentum that a team can carry. Who I know Boston was really good at that. The Bruins carrying from after like All Star weekend into the last month or two of the season, and St. Louis obviously last year did a really good job of that. And they kind of carry it, and look what it did for St. Louis. And it usually carries Boston pretty far as well. But yeah,
that being said, looking at some stats like from the Stars, like Ben Bishop used to be the man, right? And that wasn't really working out. I mean, I think he played 3 games in the playoffs, 1 win, 2 losses, and like you said, they're riding like 21 games played, save percentage of 922, 1 shutout. Like he's doing his part, right? Anton, AK, AK. That's what I call him, AK. That game is on tonight, and I'm interested in checking it out. Um, I would say this about myself though, even when it becomes Stanley Cup Finals, I'm like kind of on my way out because the early rounds are the best rounds, right? Those first round, second round, third rounds, conference finals. Get to the finals, it's like okay. I mean, not to say it's not good, but
yeah, I think it is way different when a team is when there is fans. I think I just get behind like a city maybe when I'm watching. Um, I just remember like
you
just
like the
thinking
storyline.
I really do like storylines, and I really do think that the NBA kind of carries a few more of them, which is what's drawing me to that right now. But yeah, I
Yeah,
need the um, even an old rivalry like the Lakers and the Celtics. Like, there's not really any like heat between them right now. But if they met in the final, which is still a possibility, it's just kind of neat. But it'd be cooler to see them in the with the crowd. Just yeah. I think I really do need the energy of the
where
Stanley Cup Finals.
where are they playing tonight? Dallas or Tampa?
I think you use that joke every
Man,
week. Every
man,
week.
and I kill you with that joke every week, man. I don't even know why we don't have more followers because those are funny jokes. Um, Game 3 is tonight, right? And they're tied at 1 apiece. So I mean, that's what's supposed to happen. I'm hearing Stamkos is coming back potentially.
Yeah, and that situation's really interesting, because that's like part of the storyline. That's what's making me not really. Tampa can win without him,
Yeah,
and it's always
exactly.
been a story that Stamkos has struggled in Game Sevens or to close out series, and that's why they've
Yeah.
had early exits. And now they're in the final, and I think would win without him, and now he's gonna suit up to maybe play a few shifts, just to say, my name's on the trophy, and I played.
Do you think he can ruin the chemistry?
No, I don't think a
Yeah,
guy
me
like
neither.
Stamkos and the amount they're gonna play him, and like who knows, maybe they use him as like a power play specialist or
Do you need a
whatever.
Tums over there? Do you need like Rolade or something?
Well, you had to eat dinner right before on this. You saw me eating, scarfing that down.
You need some Pepto Bismol?
Yeah, you got any?
Is that a Shearwater Flyer? Did you use a loan card to sign out that bottle, the water bottle?
Yeah, it
That
was drank from with John Ryer's water bottle at the game they played
oh
against Halifax. It's game
wow,
used.
wow, that should go in the.
He even autographed it, but it wore off.
You should put that in the Niobe room. Is that still a thing? No, I guess not. Anyway, anyway, that's interesting.
But
Now that
let's
we're
just
talking about hockey, I'm actually excited again. Like I'll check it out. But
and on that, the NHL awards were announced the other week, and I mean nothing really surprising from the NHL. I just,
what happened? Who won what?
I mean, there's a
Well, like, I didn't know you watched the award show.
the big the biggest I think
Draisaitl,
yeah.
MVP.
So yeah, and that's well deserved. I'd also go with Cale Makar winning the Calder. That was well deserved as well. Now, it's interesting that I mean I like to play the contrarian. So I mean Elvis from the Blue Jackets, he was he was in it the mix for the voting, and I like Elvis. I think he really helped Columbus get to where they were in the seeding. But yeah, I mean Cale was the clear winner there. Interesting to note though, Jack Hughes, the first overall pick, not even in the running at all. So
Yeah.
maybe he's a bust, maybe not. We'll find out. But yeah, you got Leon winning the Hart, best player in the league. Roman Yossi winning the Norris Trophy. It's also the Ted Lindsay Award. Leon Draisaitl got that as well, and that's voted by the NHLPA, so the Players Association. So it's kind of a, I think that trophy is really well. Like if you win that, it's kind of like wow, like this is what his peers think of him. Now Connor Hellebuck won the Vezina. I think that was a good choice. Tuukka Rask was a close second, but yeah, Connor Hellebuck.
Bruce Cassidy. I mean, see, like that team, Boston team was a tight team, right up to the coaching, and they have that perfection line. Um, I just think, yeah, man, if it was a normal season, you wouldn't have seen. Maybe it was their year to not go far. Like Boston has to lose at some point, but they just lost that fire, that momentum.
Yeah, and then when Tuca left, I think some of the teammates were a bit, rattled a little bit. But I mean, he was going for family reasons. Is no nothing on his part, but I think that stirred up the locker room a little bit. Who knows? It could be Tuca could be on the way out. There was rumors of his retirement. I think that's a little bit of hoax, but he could be his days in Boston could be numbered. Some other few like Chara, he could be getting to the end of the rope here as well soon. I still think he's effective at his age. I think it's very impressive. I think his size really helps him on the ice, stay relevant. And then you got Torrey Krug, who's that young defenseman, not so young anymore, but in his prime, and he's up for a contract this year, so he could be on the move. Um, you never know. Like, does he want to stay in Boston and try to compete? Does he think they can compete, or does he want to go? Does he want to get his payday and go to Florida or New Jersey and just get his payday and get his money? So it's going to be really interesting. I think the offseason for the NHL is always lackluster compared to the NBA. If you look at the NBA last season, it was crazy all the moves that happened. But I think this offseason should be a little bit more entertaining with the names that are on the board and the potential trade bait. I mean, we got Taylor Hall who has to sign somewhere. I don't think he stays in Arizona, and Torrey Krug, you got Pietrangelo. He probably likely to stay in St. Louis, in my opinion, but you never know. And then you got guys like Line who are on the trade list, and I think you're going to see a lot of goalies rotate teams here as well, like we saw with Jake Allen already going to the Habs, and that's in part due to I think I already said the compressed season. But anyway,
Yeah.
I think there's lots of moving parts right now, and I think the sports is really exciting for what it is. Like I'm glad they brought things back, and I think it's been good overall. Now, yeah, the playoffs itself.
It's been good.
I think it could have been a separate like trophy to win, but I mean it's you got to to award the Stanley Cup. I mean it's probably a way bigger deal, obviously.
What do you think of so basketball tonight? I think we have the Celtics and the Heat.
Yeah. So yeah,
Up to 1. What are you thinking of that series, and what are you thinking of the other stuff that's been happening on the West?
Celtics have I think outplayed Miami, and I think Miami got lucky in the second game. Bam had that huge block to seal the win, but I think Celtics have kind of outplayed. They've played in the lead. They've given it up, and I Yeah, I think it could be easily 2-1 Celtics right now, and I do think this series is going 6 or 7 games, and I mean I'm cheering for Miami, but I could see Boston taking this series, especially with Hayward coming back. He wasn't a big stat line difference maker, but I think his play on the floor and
Oh, he
not
made a big difference. He made a massive difference. You could
definitely
tell.
he had a huge impact on the game. So I'd like to
Um,
see Miami get there, but I do think if I don't
who's the
know.
best? Who's the best team to potentially say? If I mean, we're talking about the Nuggets, and the Lakers may not even get through the Nuggets. They probably will. It's a nice series to watch, but who's the best matchup? Do you think for the Lakers? Is it the Celtics, or
Probably.
is it Miami and Butler and them just kind of grinding and maybe irritating them a
I th-
bit?
I think the Lakers outsize the Celtics a lot. I know the Celtics have Daniel Tice, but I do think that the Lakers with AD and LeBron and you got Dwight and JaVale McGee, they just got the size on the Celtics. They'd almost bully them around. Now Bam on I think it's almost a similar story with Miami, but Bam is a bit stronger of a player, and but yeah, then you got to look at the experience. I don't. Both teams are young in the East. You got rookie Hero on Miami, and then Nunn, of course, the rookie. But you got Tatum and Brown, who are both like they're not rookies, but they're really really young,
I
21.
hate that squad.
Which
I hate
one?
that squad.
Which one?
I hate the Jalen Brown. I hate the Tatum. I hate what's his name there, um, Hart. Hart.
Smart.
Smart.
Yeah, Marcus Smart. It's funny. A lot of people compare him to Kyle Lowry, and they say if he played on your team, you'd love him. But it like him and
Nothing
Lowry,
like it.
him and Lowry
Nothing like
spend more time on the floor than they do on their shoes. So,
it. There is that, but I find Larry's on the floor more of hustle wise.
I
I
mean,
mean, he does.
one's an Olympian and an All Star, and so I mean, there is that difference.
Yeah, and I mean he does. They all flop and they all try to sell and they're always doing this, doing that all the time. But like, I still think Larry's, you know, can't compare him. Again, he's underrated, um, and should be in the talks of like as one of the best in the NBA right now, just for his moments and situational
Is he the
experience.
greatest Raptor of all time? Greatest, not the best. Is he the greatest?
I think Popeye Jones is.
What?
Look it up, bud. Is he the greatest? No, I think Kawhi Leonard was the greatest Raptor of all time. But I mean, he was there for a season, so that's probably the funniest storyline that's come out of NBA right now. Is that like he goes to the Clippers, and like the Raptors, like it's just like, what happened if you stayed with the Raptors?
Yeah.
What just like what if? Like I wish I was like last year. I was like, nah, man, thanks for the championship. Go do your thing. You know,
Yeah.
we love you. You know, and I was supportive of it. But the more I've stewed on it, and now that I see how things played out, you kind of have to wonder. Go, geez, man, you couldn't have done one more season. Like, dude, don't you love? Like, this is what I'm trying to tell you. Wouldn't you want to buy a Kawhi jersey? Wouldn't you want to see 6 championships like under Kawhi in Toronto? Like, I want to see dynasties. I want to see
Yeah.
domination. I want to see every year the same kind of squad. Oh man, that's that Detroit squad. Like,
Yeah, it's true. And
you
so I'm
don't
gonna.
have that.
I messaged you the other day, but you were busy at the Ryder Cup. So what's? I know we're getting a little off topic, but I like it. What's your take on Kevin Durant then, and his legacy? And yeah,
I think Kevin Durant. I mean, where do I begin? Kevin Durant is like, I love seeing his highlight reel. Do you know what I mean? I love seeing what he can do. I think he's super talented, and I think he's like a phenom. You know what I mean? I don't think you'll ever see a guy like him, like the
hmm
way he plays, his build, the way he shoots. But legacy, what has he done?
Isn't he won what 3 times in 4 years?
What has he done? He's won 3 times in 4 years. Really?
I think,
Yeah.
or 2 times in
That,
3 years, and then he's got
yeah.
Finals MVP. I
Here's
think he's
here's
got
my
regular
problem.
season MVP.
Here's my problem with Durant. He played with Harden and Westbrook. Then he plays with Thompson and Curry. Um, Stephen Curry is the man. Okay, that's one. He's the most lethal guy without the ball. He's just on the court, and people are scared of the potential that he can shoot from anywhere at any time. So I think when you have a threat like that, and you have Durant and these guys, like it's hard to isolate what Durant really is. And then he's had injury issues and all that. I think we need more time, but yeah, he's a great player. I don't know. I don't know all that talk about legacy right now. I mean, they talk
Yeah.
about Harden's legacy right now. This is like, whoa, like, why are we talking about legacies? Like, not saying that's a bad question that you asked, but it's just hard to answer when, like, what are you doing on Brooklyn, Durant? I mean, we haven't seen anything. He's been injured, and you know,
Yeah,
let's like, what can you do in Brooklyn? What can you do like with and Larry's poison too? I've heard not Larry,
Kyrie.
Kyrie.
Yeah,
I've heard crazy things. Kyrie's probably like, let's look at him. Talk about what he's done as a one-on-one. No one can touch him. He's probably got the quickest, fast first step.
yeah,
But who cares? You know, what do you think of Durant?
yeah. It's much of the same. Much of the same. He's talented for sure. I mean, to see him lose in the Western Conference Final when he was on the Thunder, and the next season he joins them. They were up 3-1 too.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
Thunder were up 3-1 on the Golden State Warriors. They were that close, and if they get to the final, they probably win. Um, and they lose, and then the next season he joins them. So I mean, it just goes against I know your principles for what a great player or a great dynasty kind of looks like. It takes away from the whole Warriors dynasty, in my opinion. Steph is the right. You're right. He's the engine of that team, and to bring Durant in, I mean, you don't say no. If
yeah,
you're
yeah.
gonna sign him, you don't say no. We don't want you. But at the same time, it takes away from Steph, I think, a little bit, and like his ability to be like the face of the franchise. I mean, he still was. I don't know. It's just a weird situation. Doesn't sit well with me. The team was they were what 76 and whatever 6 losses. Like,
Yeah.
who wants to
Like,
watch that? That's not fun.
have you seen Durant's Rutgers Park like game when he's outdoors?
No.
You should look up his mixtape. Like, he's got a mixtape of all the best moments of that game and stuff. It was amazing, man. I think it was during. I'm gonna look it up right now. I think it was during like the lockout, maybe 2011 or something. But he was outside and he was playing, man. And it was like, have you remember the movies back in the day, like Above the Rim, White Man Can't Jump, all those basketball movies? Like, he was the king, man. You should see where he had so much swagger. You could see the talent he has. They were calling this guy the Durantula because he just he's like a spider almost. He's like really lanky and thin and deceiving. And I don't know if that was the same time where he was like, yeah, my mama, she's the real MVP. Like, I don't know if that was the same time, but he's super talented. I don't think he's getting enough credit, um, and people should pay more attention to him. Obviously, I think
To
he may
Durant.
have. Yeah, I think he may have some kind of historical relevance, some kind of legacy. I just There's so much talent in the league, right? Like, you
But if
just
LeBron joined the Golden State Warriors now, or even 5 years ago, loses. The Cavs lose, and he says, oh, "I'm going to join them," and he wins 4 straight. What if they win 4 straight? You would say that doesn't
no, I
matter. Like,
don't. I have no respect for honestly what he did. Like, to go and like, I know the old adage is if you can't beat them, then join them. But Do you think Jordan would ever do that? Like I keep going back to the Jordan question.
Yeah, no, he
You've,
wouldn't.
you've seen enough of it. No, no, like no way, no way. He would never do that. It's just there's some kind of ethical principle that you have to follow, and that just depends on, I I get it, and you got to get paid. You want to win that championship. Um, Players have more power now. So you do what you can. It's funny. I'm talking all this garbage now, but if I was a player and someone offered me something or said, "Hey, you guys want to come play with me?" I'd be like, "Yeah, yeah, I do actually. I'm tired of playing with these losers, and I'm tired of losing."
For sure.
So, yeah, I was never like. I know we never even went there, but I was never a fan of that. Like, and he's like demanding all this respect and stuff. It's like, okay, yeah, but you also look at that team. Look at that Golden State team. And we could do a whole episode on
Did
that.
you get a chance to watch the video I sent you of
I couldn't.
man? Okay, well we'll continue the chatter. But I'm gonna pull it up. It was it's Shacked and a Fool, so I think it's TV friendly. It's on networks. Anyway, we'll pull that up real quick. But yeah, another interesting thing was I've seen a bunch of potential trades and a bunch of potential. I mean, they're all make believe, but there's some truth behind every trade. The Sixers are a team that, like I said before, they were one shot away from the potentially maybe winning last year. I mean, they'd have to face the Bucks and then an injured Golden State Warrior team. But if Kawhi doesn't hit that shot, the Sixers may have won with Jimmy buckets in that squad. And now their first round exit. I think they were swept by the Celtics. And so yeah, lots of trade talks there. Embiid, maybe on the way out.
Yeah.
Do you anything that you seen or heard any potential trades or like let's say Giannis going to the Golden State Warriors? I know I chatted about that last week, but yeah, anything that you've seen or heard?
Nothing really like that, other than like the headlines I've been seeing, or especially Durant. Did you see Durant talk about um, LeBron being the MVP?
No,
He
I didn't
deserved to
see
be
that.
MVP. Yeah.
What's your take on that? That's actually it's a great conversation piece. So yeah, go ahead with your Durant piece first.
You gotta listen. Bring up the Rutgers Park thing right now. That's all I want you to do first. Bring
Okay.
up Rutgers Park, Durant, and there's probably some kind of quick mixtape. Just play a little bit for all our fans out there.
Okay. The other thing that was interesting while I pulled that up. Wait, Rutgers Park. Uh, I think that first of all,
So
go ahead.
no, keep going.
I think first of all these awards should be handed out before the start of the playoffs. I think the MVP of the season, because it's kind of tainted now with Giannis being lackluster. You have Siakam on the first NBA All Star team, and he was, or maybe second maybe, and it was the same kind of thing. It was anyway. I think that should be all, and same with the NHL. It should all come out before the playoffs because, I mean, we've seen Giannis play against the Heat, and anyway, I got this. Do you want the full video? 10 minutes.
No, 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 no. I just wanted you to get a feel for it. There's probably shorter clips and stuff,
Are we
but
pulling it up on screen here?
yeah. As you're playing it, I'll talk to you about basically what I heard about Durant. Durant was basically saying LeBron James, not Giannis, should have been the MVP. And I mean, this is coming from Kevin Durant, who I think was MVP in 2014. So it's just like um, he was saying that if you're the best player in the world, I think Shaquille O'Neal said the same thing. If you're the best player in the world, then why aren't you the MVP?
Yeah.
How aren't you the MVP? So it gets back to we'd have to pull back maybe 3 or 4 episodes where we talked about MVP criteria. It's weird. The NBA does that. The NBA just is like, are you the best player of the season? Are you the most dominant player? Like the criteria is so vague and loose, right? Um, so I think LeBron James should be pissed off. If you're the greatest player, then show us that you're the greatest player. get pissed off. Let it fuel you, right? So I didn't mind. Yeah, I saw his interview, and he was kind of like, I'm kind of pissed off. I only got 16 votes. Like, whatever. Um, I don't care about what you're saying. Show me. I mean, he's pulling out some big stats, and he's on his way. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know how you choose the MVP of the playoffs right now. That'll be interesting. But there seems to be a lot of people thinking, hey, Giannis wasn't the MVP. I don't know. I don't see anything wrong with it. I like that he's MVP. Sucks that he's not in the playoffs anymore, but it is what it is.
Yeah, funny on the Bucks. There's been reports of they're thinking about, what was it? They want to bring in CP3. Giannis gave the Bucks a list of players that he would play with, and CP3 was reported to be on the list.
Really
interesting to note, though, the Bucks left Michael Brogdon. They let him go. I think it was a season or two ago, because they didn't want to pay luxury tax. They didn't want to go into the luxury tax to keep this young, I think he was a point guard, but young guard around. And now in Giannis's last year of contract, they're we're gonna give you the players. We're gonna build a team for you. Like, that's where I think having the players have the power is so important. Like, this is a franchise that's like, no, we want the money. We don't want to go into our luxury tax to build you a team, or the best player in the world this season. And then in his last year, they're telling him, we're going to do whatever we can to get you the team to be successful. Like, I'd be gone. I'm out. Like, you know what I mean? You're not doing this. You let this player walk, I'm gone. And then, so it's just interesting to see the desperation, and now all the rumors with Toronto and Golden State and everywhere else that Giannis could go. But yeah.
Like, Giannis had regular season averaged 29.5 points, 13.6 rebounds, 5.6 assists per game. LeBron managed 25.3 points, 7.8 rebounds, 10.2 assists. You look at the stats and you're like, okay, well, like, you can't really just look at stats and numbers all the time, right?
Yeah.
Because they're kind of similar. But I mean, Giannis looks, Giannis has the rebounds over LeBron, but LeBron has, like, the assists. During the postseason, Giannis had 26.7 points, 13.8 rebounds, 5.7 assists in 9 games, while LeBron has averaged 24.8 points, 9.5 rebounds, and 8.8 assists, 13 games. Again, you can't be mad at either one of these guys being MVP. I think the issue is, and I still think the Bucks and who he has around him has to go into the formula. Who the hell does Giannis have? He's still pulling up numbers like that.
It's because they don't have anyone else.
LeBron should be astronomical, but I see it the other way. If you have you and AD, if you and I are the two best players in the NBA on the same team, we should be astronomical. We should be 50 points each.
Yes and no. Yes and no. I see what you're saying.
The issue is people want to evaluate the regular season and the playoffs all together. I think I'm down with that. I think MVP has to kind of bleed into playoffs. It's great that you did that in the regular season. You know what I mean? So I like to see it all being evaluated, but I ain't mad at
I'll tell you
what it is right now.
For me, I'd like to see a regular season MVP awarded before the playoffs, and then a playoff MVP, and then a finals MVP. I think I'd rather see all three of those. Yeah, I think that would be most interesting, because the finals MVP people aren't sure if a player that wins it, is it just taking into account the finals, or is it taking into account from the start of the playoffs till the finals who's been the most impactful and best player, the most valuable player on the team. So
check this out.
What do you got?
Check this out. Regular season stats for the Lakers between Anthony Davis and LeBron. Okay.
Yeah.
Anthony Davis, 26.1. LeBron, 25.3 points. Okay? Somewhat similar. Anthony Davis is point on average a bit above. Rebounds, Anthony Davis, 9.3. LeBron, 7.8. LeBron, for assists, 10.2. AD's not even there. AD, averaging 2.3 blocks. Okay, you're looking at all these stats. The minutes are the same. They're both playing about 34, 35 minutes, okay? Now what do you look at? You're looking at it going, okay, man, LeBron's not even the best player on his own team. But, okay, well, he's 36 years old. You start looking at some other things. Maybe there's some other things you put in the umbrella, right? But in the end, I don't know what the hell people are upset about when you got almost like 2 LeBrons on one team. That's how I feel about it. You got 2 dominant. Before this even happened, when the trade happened, my mind was like exploding. I was like, they got the 2 best players on one team. Can you make an argument that this has happened before? Yeah, of course. Scottie Pippen and Jordan. I don't know if, I guess you could say in the 90s that arguably Pippen was number 2, right?
Yeah.
But it's just it's strange to go, why didn't LeBron get it? But I don't even know if LeBron would get it on the Lakers itself. Let's look at the Lakers playoff stats. You can talk while I'm bringing this up.
Yeah, I don't know if you can penalize a guy because of his team. And to go against this a little bit, I think you look at Kyrie Irving, who we talked about earlier, he is an ISO type player, and he dropped 50 points, I think, in his first game with the Nets. But now he's got to share the ball, and I think basketball's like in hockey. Sure, you bring in another player, and now every time there's a goal on that line, I'm sure if you've touched the puck, you're likely getting a point. So everyone's point totals increase. But now in basketball, there's only one. You have to share the point distribution, and I mean, you can't score 200 points a game, and each player average 40 to 50 points a night. Like, it just doesn't. There's not enough time for that.
I know. I'm just exaggerating with, like,
for sure.
It's not all points. Like, it's also measuring. Like, we had an episode where we tried to measure clutch. Like, a lot of this is subjective stuff.
Definitely.
You're always going to have people that are not going to agree. But, there's no, like, to me, MVP also should be unanimous. Like, I should be able to ask 30 people, 40 people, and they should give me the same name. Like, like to me, there should be that kind of impact. I think nowadays, a lot of people will say LeBron, but there's going to be some people that say Giannis too. Maybe they're LeBron haters. Like, I mean, I don't know, but
yeah,
it's interesting anyway.
It'd be tough to get unanimous. I don't know if that's even possible. Even back in the 90s, I'm sure.
It wasn't tough when Jordan was in the NBA. Except that one year when Karl Malone got it. And Karl Malone, he had a great season, but you know what happened afterwards? It's just like, oh, okay, he's the MVP? Well, let me show you how much better I am. That's all I want to see. Like, and maybe LeBron's doing it. Maybe we should start off next week's episode with some LeBron stats. I would like to actually, like, kind of see where he is in the bubble.
Let's get the analyst Megan on that. We can get our analyst to do that.
Megan Stewart, if you're still awake, it's 8 o'clock. You hear us out there? You're on for next week. Anyway, what else do you want to talk? Are we wrapping this up? We've been rolling for an hour.
Let's wrap this up.
It's been a hot episode.
I got one more thing. I know you haven't seen this yet, but I'm going to play it here. It's about 1 minute and 50 long, so just bear with me on this. I'll chat with you while what's going on, but there is audio.
I'm gonna watch it. I'm watching it right now.
Are you on the Facebook feed?
Yeah, I've been watching myself the whole time. I look good, man.
Hey, here we go.
I'm not used to doing Shaq and Fool in the daytime.
It's the nighttime already. It's early nighttime.
What?
Chuck don't know we in a bubble.
Big dummy.
How's he gonna get these other Shaq? Oh, it's presented by Papa John.
Of course it is.
Surprisingly.
So I guess if you don't know, a little quick thing, Shaq's in a fool. He typically does like takes from the NBA that's kind of like silly things or things that just like blooper reel almost. So we'll get into this.
Number 4, Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
Ernie, in his defense, Daniel Theis and Nick Nurse look a lot alike.
Yes.
Great pass.
Mistake often made.
Falling down.
They look alike, Ernie.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, he's gonna get in trouble tonight, cussing on TV.
That's pretty good. Number 3, Ivanka Zubac with a shot worse than Chuck's guarantees.
Oh my gosh. No left. No left. Guarantees.
Y'all,
What number you want?
y'all need
Starting number
number
2
2,
now.
Boston and Miami. Kenny Cornelius. Cue the music.
I forgot
Benny Hill.
I was gonna go to. I might go back to my Globetrotter.
Yeah, go ahead.
Look like to watch the.
Go ahead, let me hear it. And number
This is the one I was
Paul
looking to
George.
chat about a little bit.
Way off P, summed up the Clippers.
Way
Way
off P.
Hopes in one shot. Way off. In the words of Damon Lillard, it looked good to me. That's hilarious.
That's a little cruel. That's
Way off P.
Yeah, man. I didn't know if you had the audio on that, but
I did. Yeah, I do.
he's calling him way off. He's calling him way off P.
That TNT crew is the best.
They're pretty hilarious.
And I love watching them. It's like when they were playoff Powell. They were like, playoff Powell? He's been in the playoffs like once. How you get a name like playoff Powell? Anyway, do you ever hear them talking about, like, Barkley is funny, man. Him and Shaq. Shaq's always talking to Barkley about having no championships. And Barkley's always going, yeah, you had Kobe and Dwayne Wade. And then they get talking about the win.
You cut out there for a
It's
sec.
funny stuff. Like, they get away with a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, that's probably good. I did. Anyway.
Yeah, I just thought it was really, man, the way the insider. I don't know if people don't know, you have Dame, the cutout of Dame and CJ McCollum laughing at that shot, which is actually an original clip of PG and Pat Beverly laughing at Dame for, I think he missed 2 free throws to lose a game, and so there was some beef on Twitter between the two, and Dame was calling PG out for jumping teams all the time, from Indiana to Thunder, now to obviously jumping to Clippers. So some beef there, which is kind of fun. And way off P, I've also seen PG 13%, just making fun of his shooting percentage. But man, that Clippers team.
I feel bad for PG, man. Like, PG's one of those guys. It's just like, he thought he had it all lined up, right? You could tell. Like, he's like, no, this is a good recipe. And you heard about Pat Beverly going to Steph Curry, going, move out of my way. These next 5 years are mine.
Yeah.
anyway, he's down in Cancun now, I guess. All right, man, I'm cool with calling this a wrap.
Yeah, that was good. That was a good way to finish the show. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. We'll see you next Wednesday, 7 o'clock Atlantic Standard Time. Thanks, Isaac, for tuning in. You had a good cheer today and a good mustache. Thanks so much, and have a good night.
Nice smile, Matt. Very nice.